Former personal lawyer to President Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, is in a little bit of trouble. So now, apparently, he has been suspended from practicing law in the state of New York. Oops. So now this decision came down from the Supreme Court of New York Appellate Division, the first judicial department, and it is a suspension, and apparently will continue as the Attorney Grievance Committees continue an investigation into Giuliani and what role he played, of course, in ginning up the Capitol insurrection on January 6th. Now, the court ruled that there is, quote, uncontroverted evidence that the respondent communicated demonstrably false and misleading statements to the courts, lawmakers, and the public at large in his capacity as lawyer for former President Donald J. Trump and the Trump campaign in connection with Trump's failed effort at reelection in 2020. No kidding. Yeah. Yes, he lied. A lot. A lot, a lot. Okay, anyway. They said Giuliani's conduct immediately threatens the public interest, yes, and warrants interim suspension from the practice of law. Giuliani, later on, as a result of this, said he was, quote, not very happy with the court's decision. And he said, I made all those statements. Not a single one of them led to a protest, a riot, an incident, in anything. He said in an interview with Newsmax, obviously those statements do not have the impact of creating danger. Statements, which ones? Which one? I mean, look, obviously, the obvious one is trial by combat. Let's have a trial by combat on January 6th. I really don't think that I have to go further on that, but I will. In its ruling, the New York Appellate Court wrote of Giuliani that his false statements were made to improperly bolster respondents' narrative that due to widespread voter fraud that doesn't exist, victory in the 2020 United States presidential election was stolen from his client. The court said it relied on Giuliani's statements at press conferences, state legislative hearings, and on TV appearances, radio broadcasts, and podcasts, as well as one in-court appearance. I don't have to show you that because you've all seen it before. It's everywhere. Everywhere. But in certain cases, according to the court's ruling, Giuliani also acknowledged that the statements he made were untrue. Now, what do you call an untrue statement? Oh, right, a lie. But claimed that he didn't knowingly make a false statement. And here's some examples of this. Giuliani, without providing evidence, described the lawsuit at the Pennsylvania fraud case hearing as part of a nationwide voter fraud, as part of nationwide voter fraud involving at least 10 other jurisdictions. U.S. District Judge Matthew Brand asked Trump's lawyer, so you're alleging fraud? Giuliani responded, yes, Your Honor. Later on, Giuliani admitted to Braun that the amended complaint did not allege voter fraud at all. Giuliani then claimed that he relied on some unidentified member of his team, who goes right under the bus, who inadvertently took the information from the Pennsylvania website, again, under the bus, which had the information mistakenly listed, the court wrote, citing Giuliani's affidavit. The court concluded, however, there is simply no proof to support this explanation. Yeah. Yep. It's kind of a theme, isn't it? You know, Rudy Giuliani saying things that aren't true and having no proof to back him up because they're not true. The court noted that Giuliani on multiple occasions also baselessly claimed on his radio show, Chat with the Mayor, that there were thousands of underage voters who illegally voted in Georgia, even after the state declared the claim to be false. At various times, respondent claimed that 65,000 or 66,000 or 165,000 underage voters illegally voted in the Georgia 2020 election. Well, now Rudy Giuliani would know about all things underage, wouldn't he? The court said in its order, the Georgia Office of the Secretary of State undertook an investigation of this claim, compared the list of all the people who voted in Georgia to their full birthdays. The audit revealed that there were 0 underage voters in the 2020 election. Once again, being proven false. Shocker. Shocker. And in its order, the New York court said Giuliani had, quote, made false and misleading statements that illegal aliens had voted in Arizona during the 2020 election and provided estimates at various times that ranged from 32,000 to a few 100,000. How do you not know when someone says stuff like that they're not bullshit? How can you not tell that they're not, that they're like, how can you not tell that they're bullshitting? No, of course you can tell. Of course you can tell. It clear and demonstrable lies. All of them. The court said that there are other instances of Giuliani's misconduct not discussed in the order because they felt the ones that they did detail were sufficient enough to make their case for an interim suspension. This guy is a 100% prevaricator. Not an honest bone in his body. Lying for money, by the way. He was getting $20,000 a day from the Trump campaign. Of course he was going to lie. He's going to lie for that money. This guy's doing a hustle. That's why he's doing this. But apparently it seems to be catching up to him. Which, hey, great, because it rarely often does to people in power. But in this case, good to see that hopefully it is catching up, and hopefully he will never be able to practice law again. Because really, and by the way, who would want to hire somebody like Giuliani who farts in court and butt dials people, butt dials the press, and does all sorts of ridiculous things? I mean, come on. They're not sending their best. That's all I'm saying. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.